So, you know, I've always thought that good quality doesn't just happen in something. It's really, there's effort put into it. And I'm here with Bob Denman from Red Pig Tools out in Boring, who makes some amazingly great quality tools. And we're going to be talking about some of the smaller hand tools that you would use in the garden. Now, Bob, I want to start with this little creature right here because it's unusual and different.
This is a girdling knife, and it's used in grape culture and in avocado culture.
So it's not one of those knives that my mom would have used to put on her girdle.
No, she would not have done that unless she had need to carve off just a little bit. And you run around the limb and you take a strip out, and it forces the plant to throw more fruit.
Because it thinks it's dying.
Right, and it's a little narrow. It's narrow enough that it'll heal back over. And you only do a couple limbs on each tree. Wow. For instance, but if you get, maybe 40 or 50 more avocados per tree.
And that's a lot of guacamole.
Yes, it is.
Now, what's this big? This just looks like a big old sugar scoop.
Well, this is a scoop that I designed specifically for gardeners. Most scoops are round-bottomed, and they're very good at taking about a quart out of a bag and putting it on your potting bench as you're mixing up potting soil and fertilizers and things like that. But they're lousy for cleaning up. So this one has a flat bottom, so you can use this on the bench to clean stuff up off the bench.
So it's really a very simplistic change, but very functional.
Small change.
Now, you've mentioned, like before, about 2, 3, 4 inches.
Right. This is called a hazeltine hoe or a hotbed weeder, and it was traditionally used in a hotbed, which is a cold frame filled with manure. And you weed with it. That's 1 inch right there, 2 inches across here, 3 inches across here, or 4 inches across here. So it depends on the spacing between the plants.
That you have, then you can fit perfectly in there. That's absolutely amazing. Now, you know that I probably would never use this, but a lot of people do. What is that for?
This is a bulb lifting fork, and it's used. You push it in the ground to gently lift your bulbs out of the ground. If you were one of those people who refrigerate them over the winter and put them out again every spring.
Yeah, mine run the risk of death every year because I don't dig them up. Now, I do find this one interesting because, we sell a lot of bonsai, and I think that's a cool tool.
Now, this is a bonsai root hook, and it's used, bonsai, of course, is the art of pot-bound plants.
Sure.
And in bonsai, when they want to loosen the roots on a plant, instead of taking a knife and slicing through the roots, you take this hook and tease the roots loose, pry them gently. It's much easier on the plant. It doesn't create a lot of wounds, and it doesn't shock the plant so much.
And I would assume that even if you're not doing bonsai, a lot of new plants from nurseries, especially at the end of the year, tend to be very root bound.
Yes.
You could take this, do the same thing, a lot more gentler on the plant.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the big ball and fork over there.
This is a ball weeder, and this is my version of a Victorian ball weeder, which had a much shorter handle. But by lengthening the handle, I gave it much more leverage. This tool, you push in the ground like this, and then you pull back like this. The ball, serving as a fulcrum, basically explodes the tap-rooted plant out of the ground. And the ball, in wet weather, will give you always give you some resistance, where a little thin strap or just the handle, they tend to sink in.
Sure,
and the ground is usually pretty wet around here.
Well, this is just really a very small portion of the tools that you can find out at Red Pig Tools. You can also go to their website, which you can find on gardentime.tv, and we'll click you over there. Lots of really good information that you can get about garden tools, and a lot of stories from this guy. So come out, spend the day, get a lot of history and some great tools for your own garden that'll last well into your children's lifetime. Bob, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.